The iconic sound of the Queen Conch signals many things across the Caribbean. For some, particularly in the OECS territories of Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it is the call of opportunity.
I love diving. I was walking before I come back and before I start back diving, and I leave my work to go back in the sea.
You look up the hill, all those houses are conch, lobsters, the sea in general, but conch and lobsters are the two main money earners.
You could pay your bills, feed your family.
My dad, that is what he does up to this day, and send all of us to school, and even grandchildren now is going to school from that industry as well.
In October 2020, the OECS, in collaboration with the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development and CITES, launched the Blue Biotrade Project. It was financed by the European Union through the RIGHT program.
I want to situate this in the context of the OECS Commission's work plan. Our strategic work plan for this triennium includes a strategic objective of reinventing our economy in the context of the devastation to our economies caused by the pandemic and all climate change and all the other crises that we have been assaulted by.
The Blue Biotrade Project aims to empower fishers and small-scale coastal operators from Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines to produce and trade Queen Conch responsibly.
We need to understand that in biodiversity, sustainability is important so that those benefiting from the activity or in the activity can continue doing that for generations, that you do not deplete the resource, that you manage the resource.
This represents a special opportunity to shape a future of shared prosperity in full compliance with CITES protocols and set an example of sustainable use of our marine resources.
We're using something called the Biotrade Principles and Criteria, which are a set of environmental, social, and economic criteria, which can be used to market the Queen Conch later on.
One way of achieving the full potential of the Queen Conch industry is to study the resource itself and have an appreciation for the value chain. Studies done in Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines note encouraging opportunities. The Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, popularly known as CITES, provides guidance on the sustainable management of this invaluable resource.
In terms of conch, once you're exporting the meat, you would require a CITES permit from St. Lucia. If you are importing it, you would require a CITES permit from the country of origin.
The three pillars of CITES is to ensure that international trade in CITES listed species is legal, sustainable, and traceable. So this will be of benefit not only to the species, but also to the livelihoods of the fishers who fish the species, and it will ensure that the species survives long into the future so that this industry will continue for future generations.
The information gathered through Phase 1 of the Blue Biotrade project is being studied and incorporated into an action plan for the advancement of the Queen Conch industry. Key to future success is an ongoing stock assessment to determine what corrective measures need to be implemented.
So you do need to do stock assessments to understand the age of population structure. What we're seeing with the fishers that we interviewed so far is that they're having to go deeper and deeper and on longer dives to catch the same amount of conch, which means that they're intensifying their fishing effort.
And it's not easy getting the conchs because right now that you have to go real deep to get them. Most times about 80 to 100 feet, but there are places where that you have to go to about 115, 120 feet sometimes.
And you now have to go a little further out for it.
It must be stressed that the Queen Conch is not threatened by extinction at this moment. Presently, the Queen Conch is also under threat due to issues such as overfishing and climate change.
We know that we have been seeing some degradation in the habitats.
The silt from development on land affects the grass, the seagrass, which they live on.
While the queen conch has contributed significantly to livelihoods in these territories, many believe there is still vast opportunity to further develop the industry, making it more profitable for stakeholders at all levels.
I think they should be doing a little more. The price should be a little higher because everything is going up. So if the price go a little more, we should be able to live a little better.
I see a much more vibrant industry coming out of the conch here in Grenada.
The queen conch is widely regarded as a delicacy, and many believe there is potential to explore new ways of enjoying the seafood regionally and internationally.
Conch could be done in so many different ways. You can do curry conch, you can do vegetable conch, you can do conch cakes, you can do conch chowders, you can do butterfly conch, you can do it in the seafood pasta.
I think we can add value to the conch. For instance, the trimmings that we're actually disposing of. In the near future, I'm going to be processing the trimmings and to make conch chowder and so forth, package it in nice packaging, probably 1 pound, 2 pound, and export to the States.
We ship, as I mentioned, to Dubai, and they all want it in large quantities. Sometimes we might ship 5,000 pounds, 2,000, but they want container loads of this.
Every part of the conch can be used. The shell can be used for ornaments, decorate, to make beads. It's basically like pearl ivory. You can use the hands to make earrings. You can use different parts of the meat. You could cook the whole conch.
So of course you have the conch shell, which some people are saying has a high value because it can be used to make beads, it can be used to make carbon neutral cement, it also can be used to make artificial reefs. You have something called the operculum, which is a hook or foot of the conch. A lot of people discard that right now, but that actually has a very high demand in Dubai and East Asia. So we're trying to help people figure out how to collect, store, process, and sell that.
I had called far as India was interested of the shell, that they make buttons and necklaces and all different type of stuff.
So we're trying to help everybody figure out how they can break that conch down, not just sell conch meat, but sell every single piece of the conch.
Currently, there's nothing in place for the utilization of the shells to add value to the shells.
In 2020, conch made up 62.7% of St. Vincent's exported fish and fish products.
Our main markets is in the US, where we do 85, 95, 100% clean conch. So we move anywhere from 5 to 10,000 pounds by monthly.
In Miami presently, a pound of conch is $30 US.
Conch is one of those high value, low volume species, right? So right there, the sustainability part of it, people would always go and harvest for money because it fetches a high price. But the volume, right? The age of sexual maturity, the reproduction rate and so forth needs to be taken into consideration.
We have to ensure that the activity complies with all regulations, for example, CITES requirements and all internal regulations in the country. We don't want to do illegal fishing. We don't want to do illegal activities.
Consumers want this. They want to be sure that they are not contributing to illegal trade, that they are contributing to livelihoods of people on the ground. And it will also mean that the fishers should be able to get a higher price for their commodity.
We are actually stepping into not unknown territory because for years fisher folk have done their thing, but moving it to a new level of sophistication, a new level of value, and a new level of prosperity.